everybody. My name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and welcome to another installment of Author Taste Test Vlogs. This is something that I've dabbled in over the past almost year, I think, because my first one came out in like November, December of last year, and scarily enough, we are creeping into the second half of the year quite a bit. And I don't like thinking about the progression of time. I definitely meant to do more of these taste test vlogs in the past, 8 or 9 months, but I've only done 2. I've done this for Rebecca Ross, which I actually did 2 parts to, and then I've done this for R.F. Kuang, and essentially, if you don't know, these taste test vlogs are me taking an author who's extremely popular and well-known, one that I've never read from before, and seeing if their books are for me. So as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, I will be reading Leigh Bardugo for the first time in this vlog, and the 3 books that I've picked out I'm very excited for. So we can just jump right into it. The first book I will be reading in this vlog is the one that's actually on my TBR for the month. The other 2 books I'm just kind of adding on for the sake of this vlog, but this one I actually need to be reading regardless, and that is Ninth House. This one is quite a bit thicker than expected. It is about 450 pages, and it is dark academia, which is exciting. I love dark academia, and it like leans into horror. I do know the opening scene of this vaguely, like I know kind of what happens because when this book first came out, so many people were like unsettled by it and really turned off some people, but I really like creepy horror stuff. So beyond that, I don't know anything about what happens in this book, and I'm very excited to check it out. So I'm going to start reading this today, and we'll see how far I get. I do have work soon. It is 9:30 in the morning, and I have to leave in about an hour, and I get home from work about 5:30 today, so taking up the entire middle of the day, but I can do a little bit of reading now and a little bit tonight, and we will see how far that gets me. Hello friends, it is 9:45 p.m. still on Thursday. I forgot what day it was for a second there, but I am 20% into Ninth House, so I figured I would give you an update. Hair in my mouth, that's gross. My update is that it's fine. I don't hate it or anything, but I'm not particularly loving it. I'm interested enough to keep reading for now, but honestly, it could go either way. If things don't get more interesting by like the midpoint, there's a chance I'll DNF it, but like there's nothing egregiously wrong with it. And I can't quite pinpoint what it is that's not doing it for me, you know? I do like the secret society aspect. I really like the ghosts that are in this. I think that's really fun. We've seen a little bit of magic, and that's always interesting to me. There's also this murder mystery that has just started. That was the inciting incident, was this murder. So it's got a lot of stuff going for it that I should love, but I just don't know why it's not captivating me, you know? So I'm going to keep going with it, and hopefully I start enjoying it more than I am right now. I'm going to get ready for bed and probably read like maybe one more chapter before I go to sleep. Tomorrow I am working the same shift that I worked today, so 11 to 5 again. So I'll probably read about the same amount as I did today. And I'll just keep going from there, I guess, and I will update you if my thoughts change. So I'll see you then. Hello friends, it is Saturday, about 1:45, and I am 251 pages into Ninth House. I'm having such a conflicted time with this because I'm still not like super into it, but I'm also not hating it, so I'm kind of just going along with it. If you had asked me before I read anything yesterday, like all the stuff I had just read before my first update, I would have been like, yeah, it's okay, I don't know, I might DNF it, I'm not really sure. But now I'm like, I guess I'm gonna continue on. I did look up a summary of the book, so like I know what happens, because that's what I do when I'm like playing with the idea of DNFing a book, is I try to find a summary to see if the book is going to go places I'd be interested in reading. So I guess what I read was interesting enough that I want to keep going with it. I don't know. It was weird. I know what's gonna happen in the rest of this book is gonna be super duper weird. But I think I'm interested enough to keep going, hence why I kept reading. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very conflicted on this book. I really, really, really like the vibes and the premise. Maybe it's the execution that I'm not super obsessed with. It is kind of not dragging, but it is a little bit denser than I would have liked. Like, there's a lot of really great description and things like that. I just feel like it's a little bit too much, you know? So maybe it could have been slimmed down a little bit, and that would have made me super obsessed with this, but I really don't know. This is one of the most perplexing reading experiences I've ever had. But I do have just under 200 pages now, so I think I'm gonna try and finish this up tomorrow. I have about an hour until I have to get ready for work and then go to work, and I won't be getting home until like 10:30, so I probably will only read a couple of chapters in bed tonight. Maybe not even a couple, maybe just one, because these chapters are pretty long, and that's probably also something that is rubbing me the wrong way with this book. I don't like long chapters very much. I understand that sometimes chapters have to be long, but it's just not my favorite. I prefer a shorter chapter. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna get something to eat first, and then do a little bit more reading before work, and then maybe another chapter or two tonight, and then finish it up tomorrow, hopefully. I do have work tomorrow afternoon as well. I have to go into work. My shift starts at 4, which means I have to get ready at 3. So I have until 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's the deadline I'm giving myself. It's arbitrary, but you know, we're just gonna go with it, otherwise this is gonna drag on. So I think that's doable. And then hopefully I will have actual cohesive thoughts on this book to tell you, and I can introduce you to the second book for this vlog. This vlog that's only been going for a couple of days, but honestly feels like it's been eons. This is only the first book for it, but it's fine. I'm gonna get going, and I will see you, I guess, when this is done. Hello, friends. It is Sunday. It is 1:55 p.m., and I finished Ninth House. I guess I can take my bookmark out. I don't need to have my bookmark on the last page. I finished it, and in a shocking turn of events, I loved this. I'm kind of obsessed with it. What a wild ride. That first, I'd say like third, very confusing, very hard to get into, but I think it was around that point where I decided to stop trying to understand every little detail and how it all plays together, and to just go along with the ride and accept that, like, these details are in there because that's what the story needs to go. And it was at that point that I started really getting into it. That's also when we really started diving into this murder mystery, which I love a murder mystery. So good. And yeah, that whole like last 20%, so good. And even though I did read that summary, so I knew what was gonna happen, I didn't care. I didn't feel spoiled about it. Like, it was still so good. And so, yeah, I'm very glad that I picked this up. It's not like a 10 out of 10, but maybe like a 7 or 8. Like, I really enjoyed this. And I really, really want to read the second book now because of where we left things off and what I know is going to happen in book 2. Like, I need it. I need it right now. But alas, that is not the next Leigh Bardugo book that I will be reading. Although technically, it could be. Like, this is a Leigh Bardugo taste test vlog, so the only parameter really is just reading Leigh Bardugo books. But that's not what's gonna happen. We're gonna read the ones that I have right here with me. And the next one I'll be reading is The Familiar, which is another one that I feel like has gotten mixed reviews. I feel like people either love this or hate this, which is interesting. My copy that I got from the library has black sprayed edges, which is pretty fun. I've never seen a library book with sprayed edges like that. But this, I also don't know anything about. Ooh, the end pages have pomegranates. I love pomegranates, both in terms of like the visual of them and like their symbology, and also just I think they're delicious. Like, pomegranates are great. This is historical fantasy, and it takes place in Spain, and that's pretty much all I know about this. So we're gonna get started. How long is this one? That's the acknowledgements, author's note. 379, so shorter than Ninth House, which that is a bit of a critique I have for Ninth House. I feel like it could have been a little bit shorter. Maybe instead of 450 pages, it probably could have clocked in at about 400 with all of the stuff you could have shaved off to streamline it a little bit more. But also, like, it's fine. It's not that big a deal. But this one is shorter. I'm going to start it probably tonight. I do have work. I have about an hour until I have to get ready for work, but like, I've been reading all day and doing absolutely nothing else, so I should probably get some other stuff done. And then I will pick this up when I come home, and I'll sit in bed and read for a while. Yeah, I'm just in shock from how much I enjoyed Ninth House as I kept going with it, so hopefully The Familiar is a winner too. Friends, it is just about 3 p.m. on Monday, and I've got an update on The Familiar. It's not a good one. I'm literally only 40 pages in. That's like 10%, 11% of the way. I'm so bored. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I'm genuinely so bored that sitting in this chair reading, I was falling asleep. I don't know what it is about this book that I'm finding boring. I guess the whole thing. The writing style is very, like, zoomed out. Like, we are following our main character, I don't even remember her name, Lucia. But we also get, like, these snippets of the inner lives of, like, the cook at the house she works at, and the lady of the house, and Lucia's aunt. So we get a lot of details, but none of them really matter, because we're still just following Lucia. And Lucia herself is kind of really boring as a character. Like, I don't care about her at all. I don't have any interest in following her story. So I think I'm just gonna cut my losses here. Normally I like to give books 20% before I decide if I'm gonna DNF them or not, but like I'm literally falling asleep in my chair reading this. I'm just gonna call it. Um, I did look up a summary. As we've established, when I am thinking about DNFing a book, I try and find a summary online to see if anything that will happen in the book is something that makes me want to keep going. And nothing really sounded super interesting, so yeah, unfortunately, this one this one didn't really do it for me, and I'm just now realizing I didn't grab the other book from the other side of the room. So I will be right back. Okay, so in deciding to DNF The Familiar, that means we get to move on to our third and final book of this vlog. And it is starting a new series. Not only that, it's starting a new world of series because there's a bunch of books that all get interconnected. And of course, if you know anything about Leigh Bardugo, you know what book this is going to be. It is Shadow and Bone. This is the Netflix cover, I guess, from when it was made into a TV series. And yeah, I don't know anything about this. The blurb on the back says, orphaned and expendable, Alina Starkov is a soldier who knows she may not survive her first trek across the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters. But when her regiment is attacked, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. And that's it. That's all the blurb says. So I have never read any of these books, obviously, because this is the first time I'm reading Leigh Bardugo is in this vlog. But I've known about these for eons because they've been popular practically since they came out, I would say. Ooh, we have a map. I love a map in a book. One of my favorite things to be in books. So, yeah, this came out in 2012. That's crazy. Wow. This book is 13 years old. And yeah, here there's the original trilogy, then there's the Six of Crows duology, which I've heard is the best of the best in this collection of different series that are all in the same world. And then there's the King of Scars duology, and then I believe there's also a couple of like standalones and some short stories set in the Grishaverse, as it's called. So definitely getting into a lot, assuming I enjoy this book and want to continue on. I will have a ton of reading material ahead of me. But yeah, I am going in with pretty moderate expectations based on these past two experiences I've had with Leigh Bardugo. I'm hoping that I really like it, but I really don't know what I'm getting into, so I will start this up at some point today and let you know when I've got some thoughts. Good morning, friends, and happy Tuesday. I've got an update on Shadow and Bone. The update is that yesterday I read the first half of it. Technically, I read past half because I'm on page 184, and I think halfway through was like 179 or something. It doesn't look like I'm halfway through because there's bonus content in the back, like questions with Leigh Bardugo and the first couple of chapters of Siege and Storm, stuff like that. So if I take that out, this is the book. So you can see that I'm halfway through. And it's so fast-paced, which is how I was able to get through half of it yesterday. I was reading right up until I went to bed, which is why I didn't update you last night, because I literally put the book to the side and went to sleep. Yeah, it's really fast-paced, which I appreciate. There's a hair in it. That's gross. I'm having a fun time. I'm not loving it. Like, it's nothing special to me. It doesn't really have anything to it that I haven't seen a million times before. And maybe if I had read this in 2012 when I was, 14 years old and, like, not as avid as a reader, that's a lie. I definitely was as avid as a reader, but I had 13 less years of reading experience at that point. Maybe if I had read this then, it would have been extraordinary to me. We'll never really know. But I am still having a fun time with it, and I appreciate the fact that things are moving at a fast pace and we're not getting bogged down in the magic or anything. Like, we're getting as much explanation of the magic and the world as we need, and then carrying on with the plot. And that's great. I love that. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about it, is that I'm having a fun time and I'm getting through it quickly. So, there's a chance I could finish this today. It is just past 10 o'clock and I don't have work until 5, which means I don't have to get ready for work until 4, which leaves me 6 hours. And all I have on my to-do list for today is washing my bedding, which it's already in the wash. I just have to flip it to the dryer when that's finished. And I also have to vacuum, but that's like gonna take no time at all. So plenty of time to read. I guess I'll see you when I finish this. Maybe today, if not tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you then. Okay, friends, it is now 20 past 1, and I have finished Shadow and Bone. It was really good. I had a nice time with this book. Like I said at my halfway point update, it wasn't anything super special, but it was still really fun. I enjoyed the writing. The world building is pretty bland, but I liked the magic, and the characters were really well written. I enjoyed that a lot. The Darkling was okay. I've spent the last 13 years hearing about this series and everyone being like, oh, the Darkling is so evil and blah blah blah. And for like 60% of this book, he's literally just some guy. He's some guy that everyone says is evil, but then when Alina, our main character, meets him, she's like, oh, maybe he's just misunderstood and he's really a nice guy. And then there's like this big plot twist that, like, no, he's more evil than anyone can understand. And like, that was so obvious that that was going to be the big plot twist. So, yeah. I don't know. The Darkling just kind of makes me laugh because he is kind of just a caricature of a villain, and it's really funny to me. But yeah, I finished this and I had a good time, and I'm open to continuing the series. I think this is a good palate cleanser for when I'm still vibing with fantasy, but I don't want anything overly complicated to get into. So yeah, it's a good thing there are a million more books to read in this world. I think I'm gonna put this copy though back into a Little Free Library. I got it from a Little Free Library, and I don't feel particularly pressed to own this physically, especially not this copy. This is the Netflix cover, as I've mentioned, and it doesn't really do anything for me. So yeah, I think I can put this in a Little Free Library and be fine, and then, like, I don't know, maybe one day if I'm thrifting or something and I find a matching set of the books, I'll get them, but again, like I said, not super pressed to own them at this point, but they're popular enough that I could very easily get my hands on copies if in the future I decide otherwise. So yeah, that was Shadow and Bone, the third book for this vlog. First up, we had Ninth House, which I cannot hold up for you because I returned it to the library yesterday while I was out running errands. I had to pick up a book, and since I had finished reading that one, I figured I might as well drop it off. But that one was a surprising read that I had considered DNFing at one point, but in the end, I had a great time with it, and I think I gave that one an 8 out of 10, and I liked that more than Shadow and Bone, so I think Shadow and Bone feels like a 7 out of 10. That feels accurate to me, so yeah, we'll go with that. Ninth House, I did really enjoy it in the end, even if it had a bit of a rough start, and I'm excited to read the sequel and any more books that Leigh Bardugo puts out in that series in the future. I think I saw somewhere that it was originally supposed to be like a super long series, like 10 to 12 books, but then that got cut down to 5, and now it might only be a trilogy, so there's maybe one book left to come out, but potentially more? I really don't know. But anyway, I'm excited. It was good. Then we had The Familiar, which I DNF'd 40 pages in because I was so bored that I was falling asleep. So we don't have to talk about this one much. There's not much to talk about. And then we ended with another fun book that I enjoyed. So at least we started off strong-ish and we ended strong because this was fun. And I'm excited to continue. Should I be adding more books to my series tracker? No. But it's gonna happen, I think. This might be the book that pushes me over into 50 series that I'm in the middle of. It might be, because I was at 48 for a long time. And I think Ninth House, the Alex Stern series, would then be 49 and this would be 50. I gotta finish some series, guys. Maybe I'll do... Last year I did a vlog where I, like, all of the books in that vlog were just me finishing series. Maybe I'll do that again, because clearly I need to get my series under control, but that is nothing we need to talk about here. We are now done with this vlog. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone!